Absolutely, sir. It is a lifetime experience. There is nothing we can compare it to. Anything else in life cannot be compared to the experience you have by just going there.
You had been, of course, as you said, to Himalayas also. You had that experience also.
Yes, sir.
But compared to
Yes, sir.
this is out of the world, isn't it? Simply out
Yes,
of
sir.
world.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Himalayas, sir, what happens is we know, even if you are seeing complete snow, we know there is a mountain, and on top of it, there is snow. Here, if you see the entire thing which is white, that entire thing is ice. It is a glacier, sir. So
Correct.
that enormity, you feel very humbled. As a human being, you feel very tiny, sir, when you look at how enormous this entire continent is, and those big icebergs are there. You hear them cracking and falling into the water. It sounds like thunder and gunshots. So that experience is unparalleled, sir, once in a lifetime.
Wonderful. We have Deep Contractor, Indian Forest Service officer from Karnataka cadre, well known for recent expedition to Antarctica. We will know more about the expedition, her interests, her passion. She has a lot of energy and passion for doing new things. And also, she's a well known wildlife enthusiast and also conservationist. So, very happy to talk to you today and welcome also.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, sir. It is very nice to talk to you also, sir. And the expedition itself, so how it happens is we have to fly to Argentina, sir. So I had to take a flight to go to Buenos Aires, which is the capital of Argentina. And from there, I had to fly to a town called Ushuaia, which is the southernmost occupied city in that continent, sir. So from Ushuaia, our ship was going to leave. So they had asked us to report 2 3 days in advance because they wanted to check our equipment. And we were also taken for a walk onto Marshall Glacier. So on the glacier walk, we were taught how to walk on ice, on snow, how to grip, how to move. And they observed how we were conducting ourselves, as well as we were testing our equipment also if everything was conducive to take to Antarctica. After that, we boarded our ship and we had to cross the dreaded Drake's Passage, which is one of the most notorious seas to cross in the world because there is a southern polar current which surrounds the continent of Antarctica. So whether you try to cross from South America, South Africa, any part of the world, you have to cross the Drake's Passage, the polar current, and then reach the Antarctic continent. So that was an experience. I was very confident that since I don't get motion sickness when I go to Himalayas or anything, I will not get seasickness also. However, my doctor had told me that I will give you some medication as emergency. And I was thankful to him for all the 2 days that I was crossing because that experience was something else. And also, what happened was we had a snowstorm and a low pressure system when we were passing through the Drake's Passage. So the movement was even more exaggerated. So we could hear, cups and chairs moving on the ship, and we were told to put all our expensive equipment on the floor so it doesn't crash and doesn't break. So that was a very different experience. I had never felt anything like that before. And then after 2.5 days, finally, when we had the sight of the first island and the first icebergs, the first glaciers, that is when the feeling was very surreal because we felt like we were in a very different world. Another thing was there are no there are no mobile phones in Antarctica, so we were completely cut off from the rest of the world. So since there were no mobile phones, earlier what our habit has become these days, sir, is what we do is if we see something nice, immediately we take a photograph, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram. That option was not there. So we had to take in whatever we were seeing, we had to experience it and we had to absorb it ourselves, process it in our mind. And that was a very, very good experience because then we felt like we were present instead of thinking of the future that how many likes I will get or how many people will see my photograph. We were actually present in that moment and feeling that this enormous place, this untouched, beautiful place, one of the last places which is almost pristine. So that was a very, very different experience. And after that, sir, from the ship, we used to get into something called a Zodiac, which is a raft. And on that, we used to go to the shore of the peninsula. And on the shore, we used to get down from the Zodiac and we were allowed to walk. But as you know, sir, the temperature will be always below zero when you go to Antarctica. So we will be wearing multiple layers. So I used to wear 3 layers at the bottom, 5 layers on top, and two gloves, two caps on top of it, one hood, glasses, buff to cover my nose and mouth. And we were also wearing something called muck boots, which are boots which are high up to our knees. And in that equipment, we had to walk. So that is why they had asked us to do some basic fitness training and come, because walking itself is one part, sir. But walking with all the equipment on our body was another challenge. And then once we started doing, we learned the rhythm of walking on those boots. We learned the rhythm of walking with so many layers. And there was so much wildlife around us. We saw 3 species of penguins, 3 species of seals. We saw humpback whales. So when we were watching all these wonderful things, we forgot about what we were wearing and what we were doing. We were just absorbed in the beauty of the continent. And after doing all of that on the last day, every single person did not want to come back. So we were 165 participants from 36 countries, and now nobody wanted to go back. Starting from young students to older people who work with corporates, nobody wanted to go back. It was so beautiful. So that was very exhilarating. And on that trip, we used to have very lively discussions. We had experts also who were talking about climate change. And apart from that, we had people who were also giving talks on behalf of the work they were doing. So, for example, I gave a talk on the wildlife management of India, and I took examples of how we have different participation of people, and how because of that, despite having 1.4 billion people, we are able to conserve wildlife, not only conserve, but even increase their population. So such kind of discussions made it very, very rich, and it made a very good learning experience apart from the thrill of being in Antarctica.